All right, welcome to this explainer. Today we are jumping right into a comprehensive training session tailored specifically for a really exciting role, the new Hive Growth Manager. Look, if you're stepping into this position, first off, huge congratulations. But I really want you to reframe how you look at this. I want you to treat the next 6 months not just as some casual volunteering gig, but as a high-value, totally hands-on marketing and sales internship. You are literally going to be building real-world executive habits here that will serve you way beyond this chapter.
So, the big question is, are you ready to be the face of the Hive? Because honestly, that's your new identity now. As the growth manager, you are stepping up to be the absolute most visible leader in your chapter. You're the magnet for new talent, you're the ultimate guardian of the guest experience, and you're the strategic engine driving your chapter's expansion.
Quickly, here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll cover 5 areas. 1. Defining your new identity as the face of the Hive. 2. Your core marketing responsibilities. 3. Your operational calendar. 4. Overcoming growth challenges. And 5. The corporate bridge. This is going to break your massive responsibilities down into a totally manageable plan. Okay, let's dive into Section 1, the face of the Hive, your new identity.
So what does this title actually mean? Well, as the Hive Growth Manager, you've leveled up. You're no longer just a regular member, you are the strategic pulse of the chapter's external visibility. Your absolute #1 goal is to ensure that every single guest, whether they physically walk into a room or log into a virtual meeting, instantly feels the incredible value of your community. They need to walk away feeling absolutely compelled to join.
And here's the best part. By doing this work, you're basically stepping into a hands-on laboratory for your own professional development. You are going to build serious muscle in strategic marketing by crafting really compelling messages. You'll master sales conversion by figuring out how to turn those curious guests into fully committed members. Plus, you'll level up in brand governance, stakeholder management, and data-driven analysis. I mean, this is executive-level skill building playing out in real time.
Moving right along to Section 2, Core Marketing Responsibilities, the blueprint. Let's get into the tactical stuff.
Crucially, to knock this role out of the park, you have to balance 2 very different mindsets. It's kind of like a juggling act. On one hand, you've got the artistic side, creative branding. That means acting as a fierce brand custodian and planning out these strategic eye-catching promotions. But then, on the flip side, you need intense administrative rigor. You're managing a conversion funnel, you're tracking a guest database, and you're making sure follow-ups happen diligently within 24 hours of a meeting. You basically have to be both the creative artist and the precise data analyst.
Now, to pull this off, you absolutely must mobilize your community. You can't do it alone. A huge part of your job is acting as the primary mentor for the weekly promotions manager, just making sure every single meeting gets publicized at least 48 hours in advance. You'll also be managing those vital guest relationships, proactively showing off member achievements online, networking with local hubs, and, oh, this is a real game changer, monitoring the room's energy during meetings so that every guest feels seen and actively acknowledged.
All right, Section 3, your operational calendar, the rhythm of success. We need to set up a pacing rhythm for you right now.
Before we talk dates and times, let's talk about what you're protecting. You are the guardian of the official Speaker's Hive brand identity. You really need to remind yourself daily that consistency in representing this specific brand in literally every flyer, every social post, every single email is the absolute most critical element of your long-term growth strategy. So, chronologically, what does your operational rhythm actually look like? Well, weekly, you're reviewing those flyers and executing that crucial guest follow-up protocol. Monthly, you're stepping up to present growth KPIs to the officers and running orientations for newbies. Quarterly, you'll zoom out a bit to organize a big themed open house and audit your overall data trends. And finally, once every 6 months, you facilitate a formal, organized handover. Stick to this calendar, and I promise you, you'll shift from constantly feeling reactive to being totally proactive and in control.
But how do we actually know if all these calendar actions are working? Well, we look at the data. Here are the 3 crucial steps you need to track on your scorecard. First, track your net membership growth over your term. Simple enough, right? Second, analyze your guest conversion ratio, meaning out of all those unique guests who visit, how many actually pull the trigger and register as members. And third, monitor your brand engagement rate across your social platforms. Tracking these metrics completely shifts your focus from just doing activities to creating undeniable impact.
Which brings us to Section 4, Overcoming Growth Challenges, the trials.
Look, leadership is rarely a smooth paved road.
So let's normalize failure for a second and look at a common nightmare scenario. You've carefully promoted a meeting, you're super excited, and 0 guests show up. For 2 weeks straight. Just absolute crickets. Take a deep breath. Trust me, it happens. This is exactly where your executive problem-solving mindset needs to kick in.
First rule, don't panic. Instead, execute a swift, solution-oriented pivot. You need to audit your marketing channels and fundamentally shift your messaging. Stop sending out those generic, "Hey, you're invited" blasts. They don't work. Start sending out benefit-driven teasers. For example, highlight a specific takeaway, like learn how to give effective feedback in the workplace. You have to explicitly show the audience the exact, tangible value they're missing out on.
Okay, let's throw another curveball your way. What if a guest leaves a really critical negative comment on a public social media thread? Yikes, right? This is all about protecting the brand's public reputation when you're under pressure. So, how do you handle it without making it worse?
The perfect strategy here is de-escalation. First, you acknowledge the feedback publicly with a really positive professional tone. Thank them for their thoughts and mention that you'll absolutely consider their feedback for future meetings. Then, and this is the key, immediately move that conversation to a private direct message to resolve the specific grievance. You maintain total public decorum while actively putting out the fire behind the scenes, just like a true pro.
Finally, we reach Section 5, the corporate bridge, the reward. Let's connect all these dots.
Just look at how perfectly these Hive tasks translate into massive, high-value resume builders. Seriously, think about it. Your rigorous guest follow-up. In the corporate world, that translates directly to sales funnel management. Overseeing your promotions manager. That is textbook corporate brand governance. Standing up and presenting your scorecard to the officers, that proves to any future employer that you have a rock-solid habit of data-driven decision-making. You are quite literally building the exact executive corporate habits that hiring managers are desperate to find. And that embodies exactly what you are doing here. You are building the future of leadership, one meeting at a time. This 6-month term, it is so much more than just a fancy title. It is a powerful, real-world catalyst for both your chapter's vitality and your own personal career trajectory.
So I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to chew on. How will you grow the Hive and your career starting today? You've got the roadmap, you understand the core metrics, and you know exactly how to pivot when those inevitable challenges pop up. I really hope you're feeling inspired and absolutely ready to execute your vision. Thank you so much for joining me for this training explainer. Now go out there, take the reins, and make a massive impact.